Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We've got a whole lot of stories making the rounds in the world of sports this evening, and you know what it is. In the morning show, Super Eagles finally having a new coach in person of Bruno Labbadia, a German tactician for the Super Eagles. But we'll be looking at other stories, Nigerian stories in the world of sports this evening, and we'll also look at some transfer stories and some stories from Europe. I have Olawale Peters joining me again this evening. Welcome to Sports Update on Trust.
Good evening, Emmanuel. It's my pleasure being here.
Okay, we'll start from an interesting news and an interesting story. This time around from the Nigeria Archery Federation. Well, if you look at other sports in the world, if you look at countries like France, USA, China, Korea, some of these top countries in sports, they also give attention to some of these sports that are not known, and this is how they actually are raking medals whenever the Olympics event or World Championship that has a lot of sporting events, and when you see them topping the medals table in the world, this is where they get those medals from, not team sports but individual sports. This time around, Nigeria archery team went far away, Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, and they are champions of this particular event, championship, and they are back to the country where they won a lot of medals. They won 10 gold medals, 2 silver, and 4 bronze.
Good one. You start from somewhere. Maybe this can propel us to a better outing at the Olympics. If the set of people that we have right now, we expose them and give them the necessary training more than what they are enjoying currently, who knows in the next 4 years. So, but there needs to be a continuous awareness of the competition, of the game. There needs for us to train them more. There needs for us to move away from the score of Africa, West Africa, go out there, because this part of the competition that people competed for in the Olympics, who knows? We're looking at basketball, we're looking at football, we're looking at gymnastics, athletics. Maybe this would be an opportunity for us also to add to our medal table at the Olympics, instead of going and coming empty-handed. Who knows? Maybe something good may come on our way through this. So I think this is a very good development.
Okay, it's a very good development from the archery team. 10 gold medals right there in the championship, 2 silver, and they actually dominated this event, and this is the second time they will be appearing in this particular championship. And for the Archery Federation of Nigeria, well, we can only, you heard it from Olawale Peters, we can only create awareness, and that awareness, definitely you are to get it on our sports shows on Trust TV. We just have to take this game and let people know about it, because archery is not a popular sport in Nigeria. All right, moving ahead, let's look at athletics. And this time around, we'll talk about a teenage sensation in Nigeria, 14 years of age, doing exploits in UK. And the story is Nigerian-British teenager runner crushes 100 meters world record. And the guy has been likened to the lightning Usain Bolt.
Yeah, let me say this comes with a mixed feelings, and it's a Nigerian British. So
okay, we should remove the British there.
So many people have said in Nigerian, come first. Or, however, whatever it is, you can't take away the fact that it's from Nigeria. The origin is traced down to this country here. So I think it's a very good one, and the way they are liking him to the like of Usain Bolt, one of the greatest
athlete runner we've
ever
seen
in the world. Up to now, people are still struggling
to
meet and break that record that he set how many years ago. So let's see, maybe the sensational kid from our country, Nigeria, here, will be the one to break it. So I think it's a very good development. Okay. Irrespective of what happened, either it's from here or
UK,
he resides there. The fact that we have Nigeria before his name, and you can't remove that Nigerian
at all.
I think it's something that we should be proud of. We should be proud about.
Okay, something we should be proud of. His name is Divine Iheme, a 14-year-old boy who is making waves and breaking records in the United Kingdom. He broke his own record where he ran a time of 10.30 seconds. Before now, in April, he ran a time of 10.65 seconds, and he lowered it down by 3 thousandths of a second to 10.30. This is what we are saying. Now, it's in the UK. In the next, he's just 14. In the next 5 years, he will be 19. I think he will be ripe to represent Nigeria in a World Athletics Championship at that age of 19, or the 18 Athletics Championship. Yes, at that age, he will be ripe. Don't you think it's the AFN should do all they can at least to bring him back home? Because we actually need all of our best hands when it comes to sports.
Okay. I like your hope. You are very hopeful, but it's not done that way, and you cannot reap where you did not sow.
That's true.
That's the truth. And before it got to where he is right now, do you know the amount of money and time that the UK government have invested
in him?
And now, because he's breaking record and he has prospects, now he wants to go and hijack him and ask him, so what do we have for him? So what stops us from looking at the infrastructure that we have in the country and make it work? We have Nigerians that are Nigerians bred, that they are here in this country. They've not traveled out of this country, that they can really compete with.
They can even do better.
10.30 seconds. In the normal situation in this country, if what country you will run less than 10, only that nobody
you see Usain Bolt,
but nobody's recording it. So what you're talking about is we should have the necessary infrastructure that can entice people to come home, not because they've achieved something. We now said he wants to go, and it's not possible. If you come back to this country, or if you said, okay, he wants to come and run, he wants to come and represent Nigeria, for example, do you have the facility? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the training? Do you have the exposure that you're going to give him? Is it the National Sports Festival that, if you look at the pitches that we are using, some secondary school pitches are even better than
it?
So is that what we're talking about? That's not. So we need to really get ourselves together in terms of sport development, in terms of having an infrastructure in place that will enable people to compete, conducive environment. That's what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at a 14-year-old that is doing very well, that have prospects of being the best in the world, and now come back to Nigeria. It's like you have a Chelsea player doing very well, and you're now asking him to go to either Wolves or Bournemouth.
Wolves is a very good team.
They are mid-table team. I'm not saying they are not good. You can't compare them with Chelsea. What happened on Sunday is a clear example.
Okay, what happened on Sunday is a clear example. All right, for Divine Iheme, good one. He's a Nigerian, British Nigerian, but at the end of the day, his origin is part of this war, and he has been likened to the lightning Usain Bolt. And he himself, during an interview, he said, yes, Usain Bolt is his own role model, and he's actually taken after his role model. So talking about the youth, talking about age grade competition, age grade teams now. Let's go straight to the Afro Basket 2024 Fiba Under 18 Afro Basket, and NBBF released list of players. We have the competition is for both male and female, our Under 18 male and female team. Before Olawale Peters will react, let's just have the list of both boys and girls for this particular competition. For the boys, we have Basi Ekbo Efyong, we have Ezekiel Oluwa Temitope, we have Sani Samuel, we have Aziz Suleiman Olaitan, we have Daubani Mutum, we have John Wilberforce, we have Precious Joha, we have Duru Augustine Chidiru, we have Abraham Boys Hart, we have Pepi Favor Komene, we have Jovan Ojako Chibuka, we have Favor Ibe Ike Dinachuku, and then for the girls, we have Pius Peggy, we have Shehu Khadija John Patience Hibam Wando, we have Idris Miriam, we have Tewogbade Mololua, and we have Ume Amarachi, we have Isaac Abigail Ayodeji, we have Iwuji Vivian, Samson Favor, and Lijirin Doyinsola. Nigeria under 18 team, when it comes to the basketball competition in Africa, I think we've really given a good account of ourselves. We are one of the best countries at this age grade competition.
Yeah, not only at this age group competition. When it comes to basketball in Africa right now, we are a force to reckon with. We saw what we did at the Olympics. We broke the record, being the first African to get to the quarterfinals. So, and I think we shouldn't limit it to this under 18. However, I think this is another good opportunity for us to have a successor to those we have playing for the Tigers right now. So, and as far as I'm concerned, it's much difficult for you to maintain success than to continue to be a failure. So what am I saying is it is more difficult for us at this situation whereby all eyes are on us. We are the team that everybody wants to beat. They want to make a name by saying, oh, we've defeated the Nigerian basket. So we should try as much as possible to live up to our names. I'm sure they'll do us proud. This is not their first outing. This is not the second time that we're making the country proud. We should continue to do that.
Okay, we should continue to do that. We are grouped alongside Egypt, Angola, Uganda, and it's going to be played in a round-robin game. The top teams will go to Switzerland for the 2025 Fiba Under-18 World Championship. Like I said, Nigeria and Egypt are the highest winner of the AfroBasket Under-18 tournament. So these two countries are also in the same group. Round-robin game, and the top teams will go ahead to Pretoria. They will represent the continent right there in Switzerland during the FIBA Under-18 Championship. All right, moving ahead from that story, let's quickly look at this particular one. Let's come back home. Let's come back to the NPFL, Nigerian Premier Football League body. And now the league body announces increase in match officials' salary. I think is a good news for the NPFL. They are trying to make our league better, and this remuneration for match officials, at least having something better than what we used to have before, I think is a welcome development from the NPFL. Okay,
average is better than none. If not, I would have asked that by what percentage is the increment to start with, but like we do normally say in our own local English, at all.
Nine bad.
So at least they've gotten something which is much far better than where they were currently right now. And I think they are doing everything possible to make sure that our league will live up to expectation. We are looking at a situation whereby the same way, the same passion that we use in watching the La Liga, EPL, Champions League, we use that same passion to watch our own local leagues. How do we need to do that? Number one, we have to get it right from the officiating to make sure that these officials, they are being taken care of, not only in terms of salary, in terms of welfare also, in terms of their security, in terms of their accommodation, in terms of a lot of things, but they can start from where they started from. I think this is a very good development.
Yes, it's a very good development. If you look at referees in the EPL, they're actually earning a lot of money for each match day, and they are taking care of hotel, all expense paid trip for them whenever they are going for a match venue. All right, let's stay talking Nigerian football stories. This time around, let's go straight to Edo State. We actually look at that story in the morning. They had that parade, the trophy parade in the morning, right there in Benin City, and during this parade, Governor Godwin Obaseki splashes 100 million naira on champions Edo Queens to tell them, well done, girls, for winning the WAFU CAF Champions League qualifier right there in Abidjan. You actually talked about motivation in the morning, and I believe the governor has heard you. 100 million, I think it's not bad at all.
I think the governor listened to our program.
Yes, of course.
It's based on that I said, okay, there's need for us to really motivate these girls for what they've done. I think this is a very good development. No matter how you take it, money is not the only thing that motivates an individual. But you can't take money out of it. Money can motivate you 70 or 80%. If you hear money right now, you can jump up from where you are seated now and start shouting, not minding that you are on live TV.
No, but I will first of all comport.
That is after the show you do that. So that's what money does. So I think this is a very good development coming from the governor of the state. Apart from the money that he gave to them, he was also there with them to celebrate. He did not send a representative to go and represent him. He was there with them. So that is something that I think really worth praising. It's part of the recognition we are talking about.
Okay.
So that means he really recognized them for what they've done.
Yes, he actually recognizes gets 100 million naira for that team. They will be smiling home. All the players and officials will be smiling home, smiling to the bank, beg your pardon, with some cool cash in their bank account. But it's a good one. We also want to see supports like this for all of our national teams, our age grade teams, even our club teams, and so that they can do well. And like we mentioned in the morning, like you heard from Olawale Peters in the morning, this is just the first step because they still have the Champions League to play. But it's a good one. They are being motivated ahead of that particular competition. Now, let's look at these stories. Looking at women's story, women's football. We'll quickly look at this, where South Africa is on the line to replace Morocco as the next host of the WAFCON. We were supposed to have the WAFCON last year. That was 2023. But because of logistics reason and one or other things, it was moved. Now, the competition will come up in 2025. And Morocco, because they will be hosting the AFCON, now they are trying to back out. South Africa is in place to host the women. And
that's how you know when a nation is battle ready. It is not until when it is time for battle they start preparing their artillery. That okay, I want to know we are battle ready. That's what it means. It means that they have the infrastructure in place. If they're having a competition by next year, and by now we are in August. August is ending, and they are coming out that okay, we can't replace the Morocco because it will be very, very tasking and cost intensive for Morocco to host both the
men and the women, and they are still hosting the World Cup.
The World Cup again, so the cost and everything will be too much on them. And we have a nation. I wish one day our country, Nigeria, we can come in this situation and say, no, don't worry, we can come in and host it. So let me ask you, if you are to host, which stadium do we have readily available that we can use?
Maybe Trust TV will just have to use one of our gadgets. All right, for South Africa, they are in line to actually replace Morocco from hosting the Women's African Cup of Nations. Now, let's go straight to Europe and we look at this. Yes. When legends talk, when the masters of the game talk, I think those who are still in there needs to listen. This time around is Nicholas Jackson in world words with our own former Super Eagles captain, John Obil Mikel. After last weekend getting that goal against Wolves, before then, Mikel actually granted an interview and he said something about Chelsea needing a very good striker. And after he's scoring a goal against Wolves, and the guy came out to reply, John Obi Mikel. If we can have that statement on the screen, I'll do, his own reply, that's Nicolas Jaskin's reply. And he said, Obi, shut up your mouth, don't talk. We can't use that language on TV. We're cleaning ourselves for Africa. Do you think Nicolas Jackson, talking to the pedigree of what Mikel Obi represented in Chelsea and in football, in world football, and on the continent of Africa?
Okay, I have a different opinion and perspective when it comes to this issue. I expected Mikel Obi to behave more like a true legend, not the way he behaved. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I listened to the podcast more than 7 times to really get the message. Yes, everybody knows that with Chelsea, they need a striker. But you don't go all out to condemn what you have currently. And comparing Nicolas Jackson with Haaland, come on. We are comparing someone that you bought £35 million with a player that you bought for how much? Haaland has been consistent for the past 3 seasons. Nicolas Jackson, his first season at Villarreal, when he moved from Villarreal B to A, he scored 12 goals. And last season, Nicolas Jackson, he scored 14 goals. The first season in Chelsea, and he made 5 assists in Premier League. That's 19 goals contribution. How many players have ever done that in their first season? I think the way we are criticizing Nicolas Jackson, if he is not taken, they are going to kill his morale, if not because he's strong and he's determined and committed. You'll be like, okay, now let's look at other players in Chelsea. Is it only Nicolas Jackson? We have a world transfer record fee. Fernando Enzo that was bought 121 million euro. We have Moses Caicedo, 112 million euro. if they have done their work as a defensive midfielder, what they have been paid for, do you think we'll concede the number of goals we conceded last season? Why is everybody calling out Nicholas Jackson as if he's the worst of the striker? That season, the top missed chances in Premier League was Haaland.
Yes.
Followed by Darwin Núñez
of Liverpool.
And Nicholas Jackson, the third. So why is everybody looking at Jackson as if he's the worst of the worst? That statement from Mikel Obi, yes, we need a striker, but you don't need to condemn and call him out. Okay. Look at the statement that Didier Drogba made about Nicholas Jackson. That's motivation. That is what we need from someone like Mikel Obi, not that statement. So,
okay, like you said, because I also listened to John Mikel Obi's statement, I don't think he totally condemned Nicholas Jackson, in my own perspective, in my own opinion. But sometimes, I think when legends talk like this, when those who have been there before, because we cannot take that away from Mikel Obi, he's one part of Chelsea that during their success moment, he was there. He won everything he needs to win in football with Chelsea. And he was still a Chelsea player when he won the AFCON title. That is the African Nations Cup under the late Stephen Keshi. So I think it was all about motivating Nicholas Jackson.
No, I don't think that's all about motivating. To be honest with you, Mikel Obi was doing more of PR for Victor Osimhen during that show than motivating Nicholas Jackson. Let's call a spade a spade. Well, he was doing more of PR. He was doing more of PR for the need for Chelsea to sign Osimhen. In that way, he's pulling down Nicholas Jackson. How can you say that this is not a striker? We need a striker that has goal sense. We need a striker that can score goals. You don't need to come out 100% before people know what you are talking about. Now, let's take a look at Mikel Obi himself. Let's take apple for apple. He was in Chelsea. He played 246 games for Chelsea. He scored only 1 goal.
But he is not a striker.
Thank you. I know you will say that.
He's not a striker.
He's a defensive midfielder.
He was converted to a defensive midfielder.
And we have Michael Essien, who is also a defensive midfielder. He played only 168 matches and he scored 16 goals. Okay. Apple for apple. Both of them are both defensive midfielder. And we have one.
Of play is different.
It's not different. A defensive midfielder is a defensive midfielder.
If you look at Mikel Obi and Michael Essien, these two players are different.
Ah, they're different. I did not play the same thing.
Their pattern of play.
No, it doesn't different. Under Mourinho, it doesn't different.
Essien is okay. When Essien was playing for Chelsea under Mourinho, he has this. What would I call it? That strength, that free road to go forward and come back. Okay. What of Makelele? Makelele also played in Chelsea.
Yes.
And how many goals did Makelele?
Makelele scored almost 7 goals in Chelsea.
In Chelsea. So
Chelsea more than same Mikel Obi.
Yes, but if you look
if you want to do apple for apple, I'll be honest with you. I'm not all out for Mikel Obi, but that statement is totally uncalled for. Number 2. Apple for apple.
Okay.
If you want to compare Nicholas Jackson, look at someone with his pedigree. Look at someone with his
Who do we compare with him?
Say what? Like you can compare him with the likes of Anthony of Man U, Kai Havertz of Arsenal. Those are the people that you can compare Nicholas Jackson with.
Okay.
And you have to look at the team also. We are talking about a team that performed woefully. Why are you picking out only? Nobody's talking about Sanchez. Do you know the error that Sanchez cost Chelsea last season and he started this season with his goalkeeping? He's not a keeper. Let's say the truth.
Okay, now let's go to Nicholas Jackson in his reply. Do you think he needs to reply that way?
Yeah, well, there's something they say in football that if you buy market, you get the price. I think that's what happened to Mikel Obi.
Okay. All right, let's see how that goes. Mikel also has replied that, yes, if he keeps scoring goals, I will keep quiet. That is what Mikel said. All right, let's look at this transfer quickly because we are out of time. Valencia ahead in race to land Brentford Frank Onyeka. You know Frank Onyeka is Super Eagles midfielder, and for Frank Onyeka, he wants to go out of Brentford. He's also pushing to go out of Brentford.
Okay, if his move to Valencia will give him more playing time, I think you should go for it because what they really read now, he need more playing time. He's a talented player. He's a very good player, and it's one of those that we really need in our Super Eagles. So what we need to do is he needs to go to a place where we have more playing time. Brentford, as far as I'm concerned, is doing very well, but he knows the reason why he really wants to move him. Probably he's not getting the needed 90 minutes, and Valencia said, oh, come over here we guarantee the 90 minutes.
Okay, but 3 clubs from Spain are actually queuing up, but Valencia definitely is ahead of the other 2 clubs. And the last one, Manchester United, completes 60 million euros Manuel Ugarte deal. All right, that is where we'll be leaving it on the show this evening. Thanks, Olawale Peters, for coming on the show. And the governor of Edo State actually heard you. 100 million for those girls. I think it's a good one.
It's a very good one, and that's what I is listening to our program. So, thanks for having me, Emmanuel.
All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashemi. Say thanks for watching.